Hey, what's up, guys? Tetrack here. I just wanted to go over a quick controller scheme I'm using. Maybe give you guys some tips on what you can do to improve gameplay, especially with top-down uh, action RPGs like this, action hack and slashes like Diablo or PoE, Path of Exiles. Right now, this is Path of Exiles. Um, So what I'm using for control scheme, I started using this is mouse region over gyro, mouse region gyro over just mouse gyro. And I really have been enjoying it a lot more. It took a second to get used to because it uses roll for left and right movement instead of yaw, right? There is some yaw play in here, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm getting used to it now. I have no idea. But um, so I find that gyro opposed like to mouse, thumb pad, or like say most people do mouse on the thumb pad, is more accurate. I can be a little bit quicker on what I want to do. Also picking up things, selecting things. Um, it feels a little bit better. I don't. Sometimes that mouse pad can be if you don't have the sensitivity correct, or just tweaking it to get it to feel right. It takes a lot of work. But with mouse gyro, it's almost like you know pretty much wherever you aim, it's going to be there. Okay, so why mouse region over mouse? Well, mouse region is a 1-to-1, right? So basically moving is going to end up becoming more muscle memory. They also, if you use mouse gyro, sometimes there's some glitches, and then your mouse all of a sudden starts what they call mouse drifting in gyro, and then you have to like set the controller down for it to reset, so that way the mouse isn't drifting like to the left or to the right or up or down. Right? It's just a weird bug. I don't know if they fixed that or not, but also too, because in regular mouse gyro, there's no center, so eventually your hands are going to be kind of like, if you're using it a lot, and get contorted in a weird way, to where you're going to have to turn the gyro off to readjust back to center, and it just gets tedious. I mean, you could do it. I did it for a while, and you actually get used to it. But with mouse region gyro, um, there's always a set position to center. So when my hands are in it, when I bring them back to center, it's always going to come back to here, right? Like, so, and if I bring it up to a certain angle, it's always going to come up to that angle, as long as my muscle memory, I just know. So the more you use it, the better you'll get at just directing the mouse. There are some things though, for instance, like, okay, so I'm using mouse region right now. You can't, when you're using mouse region gyro, you can't use it any other mouse. It basically takes over the whole mouse. So you can't use thumb pad to direct it, your mouse, um, unless you turn mouse gyro region off. And I have a way to do that. I'll show you guys here in a second. The other thing about mouse gyro is there's a weird Steam overlay bug. I don't know what it is, but when you want to go to configure your Steam buttons, if you hit the Steam button, the overlay doesn't pop up. I'm hitting it right now, right? And sometimes if you keep hitting it, it comes out, and then I hit it again and it pops it up. So it's a weird Steam bug. So the only way to get to your Steam overlay is by switching it out of mouse gyro. And I do that anyways with the way my mouse is set up, my controller set up. So use my left thumb pad. Um, if I hold it, it switches to a different mode where I can use my right thumb pad, and I actually have mouse gyro, regular mouse gyro on, not mouse region. So um, as long as I have that on and I hit the Steam controller button, it brings it up because I'm not in mouse gyro mode. Okay, I'm mouse region gyro. Okay, so um, I'm just going to show you. I'm only using two, even though I have a couple other layers here. These are things I'm kind of like messing with, but I'm only using default and combat. Combat's what I'm in most of the time, um, and basically that's my mouse region gyro. And then default is when I want to go into inventory and be a little bit more precise in my inventory. So in combat, to switch to default, I'm using layers here. Basically, what I have is this outer ring binding set to remove combat layer, but I have it inverted. So that way, when I put my thumb in the middle of that thumb pad, it's going to remove the combat layer and go back into default, which is for my inventory management. Okay, so let me show you. So if I bring up my inventory here, right, this is mouse gyro, but if I hold my thumb in the center of that thumb pad, you can see how it stopped jittering around because I'm not in gyro mode. Now I'm using my right thumb pad to move the mouse. Okay, and I have a few things added here that so that way, let's say for instance I want to split this stack. I just click it with the right pad, right, and then it'll go into that, and then I can just hold the right pad to move it back and forth, right, to where I want. So I click the right thumb pad to adjust it. So that's the one thing I have. The other thing I have is the scroll of wisdoms. If you I think, yeah. So if you control click, right, you can bring out this so you can identify multiple items at one, rather than having to go back and forth. So that's another thing I added. So that's double tap while in default. Double tap on your right thumb pad brings that up. So those are the things. So I basically made this more for a mode. So when I'm in inventory, or if I need to go through to talk to people, through their menus, I can use this for that. And then when I release the left thumb pad, it puts me back into combat mode. So that way I can go back and forth pretty easily and not have to do some weird management. So it's pretty seamless. I really like it a lot. So the way I have my combats button set up, I got it more set up like a I don't know, a gamepad on a console in a way. So all my attacks are going to be, and movement is actually going to be on the buttons A, X, B, and Y. And then my right trigger is going to be one of my combats. I think it's middle mouse is what it is. I'll show you here. So yeah, so my right's middle mouse. This is E for another one, and then I got R and T. These are ones I don't use as much, so I put them here because I don't, clicking on those grips sometimes. I mean, you can get used to it, but I prefer to use these as things I don't use too much. Everything else I'm going to put on here that I use a lot, and these are like special abilities that I use every once in a while. This right here is going to be set to my potion. So if I click it, it's the number 1 potion. If I hold it, it's my mana. I also, the way I hold my controller, this is another thing too. When I first started using the Steam controller, I was so used to the Xbox controller that I actually used my index fingers for all my top buttons, my bumpers and my triggers, right? I know it is probably the improper way to play, but I didn't use my middle finger on the triggers and my index fingers on the bumpers. And so that's one thing I've actually adjusted to, which is holding the controller the correct way. and once you start holding it the right way, you realize why they designed the Steam controller like this. So if you put the Steam controller in your hand and you put your middle fingers across the triggers, and then you put your index fingers, just lay them on the bumpers. So your fingers are actually just, your two fingers are laying on there, and then your ring finger and pinky fingers actually should just lay right on top of your grips, right? And then your thumb doesn't actually have to stretch that far to those buttons, right? So, and then if you look, your thumbs are actually over the, if you're holding it like this, your thumbs are actually over the thumb pads. So they just hover over the thumb pads. And I wish somebody would have told me this, because man, it makes holding this thing way easier and feel like a lot better in my hands. And then, so since I have it like that, my other thumb, I just hold it on my, I just lay it on top of the analog stick. And the reason I do that is because if you look, I have 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are my potions. So I basically can, while I'm fighting, if I need to take a potion, I just hit up or down or left, right? And on my stick while I'm fighting, and I don't have to, like, move my thumb off anywhere and basically, mess up my combat. I really like the quickness of being able to have that available. So clicking on the thumbstick too brings up the map. So I have this set to where it switches to a different mode, so I can control the map, and I can take it back out. Now, I know some people like to run with this on. I mean, this is just my setup. You can have it set up that way. But I have it set up to where I can just kind of move the map around. I may eventually just set it to where if I click it, it just brings it up and I can go back into combat mode and leave it up. I don't know yet. I'm still messing with that. I'm just still toying with that idea. So this is kind of a configuration. If I'll put this up on I'll put it up on the link. So if you guys want to download it and put it in your templates and give it a try, it'll be available for you guys to give it a go and see what you guys think. But I do recommend trying out mouse region control. If you're into using the mouse gyro at all, it does take a second to get used to. I mean, a little bit to get used to. But once you do, yeah, for these top down at least, you're not going to want to go back. I use this in Battle Right. I've used this in Diablo now, and the only reason I saw this is some guy, I was watching a video. Some guy was on Battle Right, and he was saying that he used it, and I was like, what? Because I've tried using mouse gyro. That's the other thing too, is I tried using mouse gyro, and I was like, man, this is so sluggish. I don't understand how to use this. Well, for one thing, I didn't know about the roll. The other thing too is, here's the other thing you have to do with mouse gyro. Let me show you real quick. Okay, so typically your region sizes are going to be in center here, and this is going to be a little bit less. I think it's somewhere right about here or whatever. Okay, maybe in center. I don't know, but it's not all the way up. Here, I'll just show you guys what happens when you set this normally, right? So if we bring this all the way down to center, yeah, somewhere it doesn't really matter. Okay, yeah. So I can't show you because for some reason when I go to HUD now, it doesn't really, it doesn't show, it used to show the mouse, the region, but it doesn't show it anymore. the region, even though the region's here, you can't see it. It used to be able to show it. Okay, so I'm using, I slowed, I basically, the region's not that big right now, right? Uh, and these, right now I'm kind of whipping it around. It's not as fast. And I don't, and I have to like turn it. Okay, yeah, that's as far as it goes. It won't go any further because that's where the mouse region stops, okay? Um, this one's a little bit, the horizontal's bigger, so it goes top to bottom. So in order to make it quicker, I had to increase the size. So basically the mouse region size is bigger than the screen. So let me show you. Let me tile that HUD off. Combat. So now that when I increased this, it actually increased the speed of the region, the mouse cursor. And that's why I have this all the way cranked up. I mean, you know, let's see. So you can see how much faster it moves around. It's just way faster. So you could crank that mouse. So if you want to slow this mouse down, I recommend just, uh, going in there and decreasing the size of the HUD. I think that's going to slow the mouse down a bit. But remember, you're actually going to bring this in, so you're not going to have, your mouse is not going to be able to go all the way at the end of the screen. But right now I have it way past this, so you probably could mess with that and bring it to where your mouse is hitting like really close or right on the screen, and it'll slow the mouse down, so it's not as quick. But I say that once you get used to the speed, and you'll really appreciate it, because you'll be able to go from one side to the other really quick, and be able to target things really fast. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys like this video. Give me a thumbs up if you do. And good luck with your gaming. I hope this helps. All right. Talk to you later.